Now, ask almost any driver or cyclist about our roads, and it won't be long until potholes come into the conversation. Across the country, 1 in 5 roads are in poor condition, according to figures out today, and cash-strapped councils are finding it hard to find the funds to tackle them. The recent cold weather, of course, hasn't helped. Well, in the capital, roads are only resurfaced on average once every 31 years, and there's currently a 9-year backlog on works to repair our damaged roads, and it's estimated that in Surrey, almost nearly 7,000 are in need of repair. But as fast as they're filled in, more, it seems, appear, as our political correspondent Simon Harris found out.
When it comes to potholes, there's no such thing as a postcode lottery. They're everywhere, from high streets to side roads, dual carriageways to country lanes. But in a contest for who has the biggest, Surrey is a serious contender. We found this crater in Chessington. Potholes cost local authorities millions of pounds in compensation. Hitting a hole in the road at speed can easily burst a tyre, and for more vulnerable road users, there's a significant risk of injury. David Jordan and Bob Malin cycle hundreds of miles around Surrey every month. Bob's a retired highways engineer and knows a thing or two about roads. They both think potholes are a growing menace.
We're totally aware, all the time. We hear of friends, broken collarbones, all that sort of thing, just dodging one pothole and hitting another.
We try to point out the potholes to our club members, but we have had people with accidents going into the pothole straight over the top.
How bad has it become?
It's almost like a third world country now. I lived in Rio for a long time, and the potholes there were no worse than they are here now.
Surrey County Council is spending an extra £5 million repairing roads damaged by the recent bad weather. But the authority admits it can't afford to fill all the potholes, and it blames the government for not giving it enough cash. The organisation behind today's report agrees.
Potholes really are the symptom, not the cause. If you don't properly maintain roads, potholes form. And if there was significant and enough investment to do proper planned preventative maintenance to roads, we could get rid of potholes.
But given government spending priorities and the inevitability of the British weather, swerving potholes will continue to be an essential skill for cyclists and motorists. Simon Harris, ITV News.
A tour guide who was on Westminster Bridge when a terrorist drove his car at pedestrians exactly a year ago spoke for the first time today about how close he'd come to being killed. Several of his group were hit by Khalid Masood's vehicle. He says it's remarkable that none of them died. 5 others were killed that day, and a year on, Parliament fell silent to remember them. Our political correspondent Simon Harris heard the account of the guide who'd just been on the bridge doing his job.
His bumper came right towards me, so I have to avoid it. And then he passed us by me.
Going back to the spot where he almost died isn't easy for Tae Jung Kim. He's a tour guide, and a year ago was showing 23 fellow South Koreans the sights.
Suddenly this beautiful area became like a war zone.
That day there were casualties the length of Westminster Bridge. Innocent pedestrians were mown down by a terrorist at the wheel of a hired 4x4. Mr. Kim saw one victim catapulted into the Thames. One of his clients was badly injured.
The one lady at the back at the time, I didn't know that it was in the air and going down into Thames River. I didn't know what to do, but and then so right next to me there was a pile of people, and underneath it was one of my clients. It was quite old lady.
4 people on the bridge lost their lives in the attack. American tourist Kirk Cochran, college administrator Aisha Freyd, Leslie Rhodes, a pensioner, and Andrea Christie from Romania. PC Keith Palmer, who was on duty guarding Parliament, was stabbed to death before the terrorist Khalid Masood was shot dead by other armed officers. An MP, Tobias Elwood, tried in vain to save PC Palmer's life.
It does haunt me that perhaps I and others couldn't have done more, and it's very sad. I'm also affected by the fact that in 2002 I lost my brother in Bali at the bombing there. And stepping back from this, we're still seeing terrorism being able to infiltrate in our world, in our lives.
Last night, Parliament was illuminated with the slogan London United. And today in Westminster Hall, the dead and injured were remembered in a service.
The murderous attacks on 2 of London's bridges last year have led to a physical legacy in the form of new security measures. These barriers were installed to stop terrorists driving onto the pavements.
For visitors, it's meant to be reassuring. But Tae Jung Kim has chosen not to explain them during his tours.
I never mentioned anything about a terrorist attack to my tourists because they are here to enjoy themselves. I don't want to scare them.
On the bridge today, the only reminders were flowers left by the families of those who died. Simon Harris, ITV News, Westminster Bridge.
Well, let's go to Simon Harris now, who is on Westminster Bridge for us tonight. And Simon, a year on from that attack, what's changed there?
Well, Lucrezia, Westminster Bridge tonight is in stark contrast to 12 months ago. Then it was closed to pedestrians and traffic and under the control of the Met's counter-terrorism branch in the immediate aftermath of the attack. Today, apart from the officially sanctioned family flowers and a polite notice telling everyone else not to leave flowers for safety and security reasons, there is no obvious reminder of the anniversary. However, the unsightly but functional steel barriers that line the bridge are here and will be here for some time, while a decision is taken on how to replace them with something more permanent. Transport for London, the Met, the Mayor's Office and the Security Service MI5 are in discussions about what is a suitable way of protecting so-called open spaces and public realms, including the bridges. It might be bollards, it might be barriers, it might even be concrete benches or bike racks. That is a decision for the future.
All right, Simon Harris, many thanks.